Hi, I'm Christopher Hurst, and this is my informative speech. So, unlike other medical donations medical conditions that require a donation of some sort, usually those can be found within the family anyway. But when it comes to medical conditions that require bone marrow donations or PBSC donations, over 70% of the patients there is not a viable donor within their immediate family. So tens of thousands of new cases of medical conditions and diseases that can be treated by bone marrow donations are diagnosed every single year across America. And I think it's important to be informed about just what a bone marrow donation is and how you can get involved with it. So bone marrow donations are not as extensive as you might believe. They're actually very simple, and it's really simple to get involved with everything like that, and it can help many different people with many different medical conditions. So I myself have often wondered what a bone marrow donation would entail and how I would go about going about doing that. And I've researched a little bit on the internet, and so I hope that I can provide you with some useful information today. So today we're just going to mention what bone marrow is and how you can donate it, or what the donation process involves. And then we're just going to talk about how you can go about beginning that process. And then we're just going to talk about some ways which you can get involved without actually donating bone marrow. And so, even though it's not well known, bone marrow donation can benefit thousands of people across America and across the world, and it can with many different conditions. And so, bone marrow and PBSC donations are two different things, two different procedures, two different donations, and they can help in two different ways. So, when it comes to bone marrow is this like gelatinous fluid in your bones that's responsible for producing over 200 billion new red blood cells every day. So when it comes to the donation process of the bone marrow, they'll basically it's a surgical procedure, and so you're anesthetized, and then they'll take a needle and they'll extract bone marrow from the back of your hip bone, the back of your pelvic bone. And so it's usually not that extensive at all, and most people who go through this procedure can go back to work or school within the next week. PBSC donation is a little bit different. It involves you taking medication up to about 5 days before the actual donation, and then the day of the donation you'll just have an IV in both arms, and then they'll extract blood from one IV and they'll filter it out and take out the cells that they really want, and then they'll give you the rest of your blood back in the other IV. So that one's not near as extensive. It's really simple. It doesn't have as much recovery time at all. And so both of these donations can help people with a wide range of medical conditions. So basically, these range from leukemia to lymphoma, anemia, immune deficiency, many different medical conditions. So basically, in the case of a bone marrow donation, the patient would first receive treatment to take care of their own bone marrow, whether it was damaged or infected or anything like that. Usually it's destroyed with medication. And then they would receive your bone marrow donation through injection into their bone. And in the case of a PBC donation, it's just injected to their bloodstream. It's a lot simpler. So now that we know a little bit about what a bone marrow donation is, we're just going to talk about ways that you can actually get involved. And then first we're just going to talk about how you can begin the donation process if you choose to do so. So almost anyone can do it, and it's actually a really simple process. Many different people can do it unless you have a medical condition that would conflict with the donating process and anything that goes along with that. And so there are also many different programs that do it, such as Be the Match and National Marrow Donor Programs, that make it widely available to anyone who wishes to do it, anyone who wishes to donate. It's available to almost anyone. So registering is actually really simple. All you would do is get involved with one of these programs, such as Be the Match. And you would just go in and they would swab your cheek or take a blood sample, whichever they prefer. And then you'll be entered into the registry, and it'll just constantly search for matches, just so that whatever cases come up. And then not everyone finds a match. Only about 1 in 430 go on to actually donate. And it's usually not found immediately. They're usually found, a couple months later or a couple years later, whatever that involves with that. So there's a large portion of the population who either wouldn't like to donate bone marrow or just wouldn't be eligible to donate bone marrow, which is perfectly fine. And there's many other ways to get involved in this cause without actually donating bone marrow or PBSC. So another interesting way that you can help is donating umbilical cord blood and umbilical cord tissue. So basically, when a baby is born, the umbilical cord is full of these stem cells that make it very similar to a bone marrow donation or a PBSC donation, in the way that it can be used for the same treatment for many different conditions. And this usually wouldn't affect the baby, the newborn, or the mother very much at all. Another widely accepted way to help is financial donations. Those are always accepted and greatly appreciated. And many of the programs match the donations that people give in order to promote promote financial giving. Also, volunteering and fundraising are always good ideas to help them just with their day-to-day activities and help them to further the cause. And then, of course, social advocacy and raising awareness for just this cause and ways that you can donate is always just a good way to put the word out there and to make it more well-known. So, bone marrow and PBC donations are not as extensive as you might believe. They're actually very simple, and registering is just as simple as well. And it's just a very simple process that can help save a life. Today we just talked about what a bone marrow and PBSC donation is, and then we discussed how you can get involved, whether that be actually donating or just doing other things outside of that help with the whole process and help support the cause. So I hope some of this information was useful and that you can use it to help make your decision, and thank you very much.